Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amy. Today I'm going to show you how I clean the leaves of my indoor plants, and also why would you clean the leaves of your indoor plants. So there's two main reasons why you want to clean your leaves. The first reason is to improve the efficiency of photosynthesis in your plant leaves. So what is photosynthesis? Basically how your plant makes energy or food. Photosynthesis is the plant taking carbon dioxide from the air, as well as water from the air, which is your percentage humidity, and it converts that using photons of light from the sun, as well as chlorophyll in the leaves, which are the green plant cells. And the output of that are sugars and oxygen. The plant uses sugars as its food. Photosynthesis. So the leaves take in the photons of light through the chlorophyll cells in the leaves. The chlorophyll cells basically capture that light energy. So if you have dust on your leaves, it can reduce the efficiency of how the plant takes in light. So a lot of us are growing our plants indoors in an unnatural environment. So we don't have weather conditions, rain, wind, airflow, that generally clean plant leaves anyways. So like a lot of other things, we have to try to mimic our outdoor environment. And sometimes if you have really large or a lot of dust particles on your leaves, it can hinder the efficiency of the photosynthesis processes that are going on in your plants. The second reason you want to consider cleaning the leaves of your plants is to reduce the potential for pest infestations. So pests really like to hang out in the little nooks and crannies and the dust particles and all of that on the leaves. And although the dust particles aren't going to increase the likelihood of a pest, by cleaning your leaves you're getting up close and personal with your plants. And when you're looking that closely, that's when you'll tend to identify some issues. That's when you're going to start to notice any pestiferous insects that are colonizing on your plants. On top of that, you can use this as a kind of preventative treatment by adding something like neem oil into the mix that you're cleaning your plants with. Now, my favorite way to clean my plant leaves is actually to just bring them in the shower and wash them down with warm water. It's my favorite way to do it. It feels the most natural. You can also blast off a lot of pests with the pressure of the water, and that's the most natural way to do things. Saying that, I have a lot of plants and it takes hours to move these plants downstairs into the shower, wait for them to drip a little bit and then bring them all upstairs. So we don't always have time for that. So when I'm noticing my plant leaves getting quite dirty and I don't have a couple of hours to bring them down to the shower, this is what I generally do to clean my plant leaves without taking them into the shower. Now, I don't do this very often. I think a lot of people think that sometimes when your leaves are shiny that you're just going around wiping your plants all day like you've nothing better to do. I will typically do this mix and cleaning my plant leaves around twice a year, and that is during the start of spring and autumn, because that's when I find that pests really start to make appearances. Other than that, maybe 2 other times a year is when I'll have the time to bring them into the shower to wash them all down. So it's really not that often, which is good because it's actually quite time consuming when you have as many plants as I do, as I'm sure many of you know. Saying that, I do actually find this quite peaceful and relaxing. Like a lot of plant care, I just stick on a podcast and I'll just wipe my little leaves away and have a great time. So let's get into what I actually use to clean the leaves of my indoor plants. The first thing is any sort of microfiber cloth. So this is one I use for my plants. I just keep this one around for all my plant stuff, and this helps to catch dust, and I find they're just generally really good to have around. The second thing you'll need is some warm water. Third thing is some liquid soap or dish soap. Anything you have will do. Sometimes I'll use pure Castile soap if I have it. If I don't, I'll just use any generic washing up liquid brand. The fourth thing is optional. You don't have to do this, but I find it does help in pest prevention, and that is neem oil. So I do use neem oil to prevent pests on my plants, and this one that I have here is cold press pure neem oil. This lasts a ridiculously long amount of time. You really don't need much of it. I do heat this up because at room temperature it is quite thick. It's not really much of a pourable liquid. So I'll heat up the bottle and pour a little bit out. So first things first, I'll get my warm water. I'll grab my heated up neem oil, and I'll usually, depending on how much water of course, but I will use a small amount, usually around a teaspoon or a tablespoon. And then I will add in my dish soap last. If you add that in first and you're putting in your water, you're just going to get soap everywhere. So I will either put that into a bowl that I can dip my cloth into, or I'll put it into a spray bottle, which I tend to use much more often, to be honest. I find this handy. I'll just spray it onto the cloth and get going. So I have my bottle here. I'll give it a shake. Make sure that the dish soap and the neem oil are fully mixed. I will generally just spray. I will generally spray it on. Spray on a good bit. Now be very careful when you're doing this, because as you might be able to see here, I sometimes am quite heavy-handed with this and I will end up ripping some leaves. So try to do it slowly, carefully, and it should be fine. So I'm going to get this, I'll hold it back, and I'll basically just wipe it on like this. Don't forget the back of the leaf as well. This also, with the neem oil, does actually work as a leaf shine as well. A natural leaf shine, should I say. I have also ripped this leaf, if you can see that. That doesn't really bother me. One thing I do want to say is that it might be a good idea, if you're doing a lot of plants at once, to check each plant before you actually use this cloth, because if your plant already has pests on it and you're wiping down this one and then you're wiping down this one, you could be spreading pests all around your collection. So just be mindful of that. I know that, well, I'm fairly sure that these plants don't have pests right now, so I think that's okay, but just a warning. So that was my Philodendron squamiferum, and I will show you my pedatum as well. If your plant does have kind of deep veining as well, it's always better to wipe in the direction of those veins. You tend to get in to those kind of gaps a bit better. So that's basically it. You definitely don't have to do this. It's totally up to you and what you want to put into your plant care routine. Nonetheless, I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please let me know by giving it a like and even subscribing maybe. If you have any questions, please let me know down below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.